10 essential verbs in French for our today's lesson. I'll give you in this lesson 10 very useful verbs, especially if you are still a beginner. So, first we have être and avoir, to be and to have. So, how can I not explain those two verbs? They are very important. We use them quite a lot. In my point of view, these are maybe the most complicated verbs. Let's start with the verb to be. I will pronounce them, so pay attention to the pronunciation. Je suis, tu es, il, elle est. You see, with tu and il, elle, the pronunciation is the same, despite these slight differences in the spelling. And then we have nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. What you notice here, the last letter are not pronounced. So nous sommes, we don't pronounce the last S. Vous êtes, there's a weird Z between vous and et, but that will be explained in another lesson maybe. And ils sont, elles sont. You don't pronounce the last T. Now we have avoir, avoir, to have. J'ai. Don't get influenced by this apostrophe, so read the letter J and AI as if it was one word. J'ai. Then you have tu as, il, elle a. So with tu and il, elle a, it's pronounced the same way. And then we have nous avons, vous avez, and ils ont, elles ont. For the plural parts, there's always a Z between the subject and the verb. Nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. Now we discuss three verbs. Parler, habiter, aimer. Parler is to speak, habiter is to live, and aimer is to like or to love. I'll explain how to use this last verb, aimer, in another lesson. But pay attention to the ending of this infinitive form. These three verbs end in ER. And when a French verb ends in ER, it is very regular. Most of the time it ends the same way. So, let's start with parler. Je parle, tu parles, il, elle parle. You see, the pronunciation is exactly the same. So there's a S with tu when you write, but that's it. But when you speak, je parle, tu parles, il, elle parle. And it's the same with the vast majority of the French verbs. Habiter. Let's see how you conjugate habiter. J'habite, tu habites, il, elle habite. And for aimer, j'aime, tu aimes, il, elle aime. You see, it's the same pronunciation with je, tu, il, and elle. The only thing you have to remember is to add an S with tu when you write the verb. Let's see now how the plural form looks like. Nous parlons, vous parlez, il, elle parle. Nous habitons, vous habitez, il, elles habitent. Nous aimons, vous aimez, il, elles aiment. Now, let's take a look at the three modal verbs prendre, devoir, and pouvoir. Prendre. Prendre means to take. And I will say, je prends, tu prends, il, elle prend. Same pronunciation. Then with nous, nous prenons, vous prenez, il, elle prennent. You don't pronounce the ENT. Never with the French verbs. Pouvoir is to be able to. Je peux, tu peux, il, elle peut. Same pronunciation. Nous pouvons, vous pouvez, ils, elles peuvent. And now the verb devoir. Devoir, it means to have to. It's like the obligation. So, je dois, tu dois, il, elle doit. Nous devons, vous devez, ils, elles doivent. Now let's see the verb aller is to go. Je vais, tu vas, il va. So aller is one of the rare verbs that is not pronounced the same way with je, tu, il, elle. So je vais, tu vas, il, elle va. Nous allons, vous allez, il, elle vont. Now the verb faire, to do or to make. In French it's faire. Je fais, tu fais, il, elle fait. Nous faisons, vous faites. It's irregular here. Vous faites. And il, elle font. That's all for today. If all these forms are hard for you, maybe you just need to focus on how to conjugate the verb with je, tu, il, and elle. Maybe later, if you want to focus on the plural forms, leave it for after. Thank you for watching this video, and as usual, I'll ask you to like and subscribe if it's not done yet, and I'll tell you, see you next week. À la semaine prochaine.